What's up, curious youngsters? What if we're always wasting time doing useless things or watching millions of videos, ending up with those weird YouTube recommendations? Why not spend a few minutes on Senor Curiosity and learn something? 30 totally epic facts that you'll forget in 10 minutes, but these aren't just any facts, they're gonna leave you completely amazed. For this and much more, here are 30 things you didn't know 5 minutes ago. Even though it sounds strange, there is a nanny school in the United Kingdom known as the most exclusive in the world, called Norland Nannies, because they are not only trained to cook and drive amazingly, but they also learn self-defense techniques for extreme situations. You'll be surprised to know they've even been hired by the royal family because of their high level of training. There is a camera that is known for being the largest ever built, as it takes 3,200 megapixel photos, or in other words, you would need at least 378 4K TVs to be able to appreciate them. This has been under construction since 2015, and its purpose will be to take photographs of space, so its place is not on Earth. In case you were wondering, can a person die from a coffee overdose? Yes, but it's not that simple. Although there isn't an exact number for caffeine to become lethal to our body, we would have to drink about 100 cups of espresso coffee in a very short time. Stay away from coffee, Timmy. Although this fact may seem unbelievable, there is a woman named Marcia Margot Wolk, who was one of Hitler's 15 German secretaries around the year 1945. Her job was to taste every meal served in Prussia to make sure it wasn't poisoned. In general, it's quite common for us to cry out of joy, sadness, or even love. However, did you know that the composition of your tears is different depending on the reason? That is, while the basic composition of your tears remains constant, there are minor chemical changes in them depending on their cause. Currently, you can buy a paint known for being the darkest in the world. And the thing is, while most black acrylic paints absorb about 94% of the light from an object, Musu black paint can absorb up to 99.4%. Of course, it's a bit expensive, since just 100 milliliters cost about $40, but that doesn't stop its sales from increasing, thanks to curious people from all over the world. Even if you're a Coca-Cola fan, you probably don't know this fact. If you open a bottle of this drink underwater, no liquid will come out. This is because the pressure of both substances is quite different, so they simply don't mix. Also, part of this phenomenon is mainly due to the fact that the gases in the drinks behave according to specific laws, so the result will surely surprise you. That's really interesting, my friend. We all know the famous Harry Potter saga, and it's likely you've seen it more than once, but there's a fact you probably don't know about its protagonist, Daniel Radcliffe. He admitted that he broke about 70 wands and around 160 pairs of glasses, since after filming, he liked to play with these accessories. In fact, he says that he used the wands as drumsticks and they would break at the same time, so the director would ask him to please stop doing it. If you're a sports fan, you might want to try aqua running as an alternative. It's an activity that involves running underwater without moving from that spot. And even though it might look a little strange, the truth is that this sport has many physical benefits. Has your heart ever been broken? You've probably been told it's not a big deal, but maybe it actually is. There's a condition called broken heart syndrome, and it's a heart condition that's triggered by highly stressful situations and extreme emotions. This syndrome causes part of the heart to enlarge and not be able to pump properly. Well, this can lead to worse conditions, and it could end up killing you even if it sounds impossible. In the United States, his name unfairly served a 46-year prison sentence for a crime he didn't commit. This only came to light because the real culprit admitted his guilt. March 2019, the one who murdered another man named Gregory Harris. As compensation for this mistake, Philip received about $1.5 million, which seems insufficient for spending almost half a century in prison. If arachnids scare or disgust you, you'll probably hate them even more after hearing this fact. In addition to being highly resilient, scorpions have another truly unique characteristic. They are fluorescent. Yes, just like it sounds, when you shine ultraviolet light on them, you'll see they appear greenish. This is because they have a cuticle. It's a thin, transparent outer film that covers their exoskeleton and contains a fluorescent protein that gives them this feature. How fascinating, Mother Nature. In Hachianapa, Cyprus, there's an underwater museum called Muson, where you can see sculptures of trees and children playing hide-and-seek everywhere. It features around 93 statues, and to build this museum, cranes were used to lower sculptures weighing up to 13 tons to the seabed. Additionally, each one is made with a neutral pH, so it doesn't harm the environment and actually encourages coral growth. Would you sell your face for $200,000 if your answer is yes? Promobot is a company that makes robots, and they've been offering that amount of money to people with a friendly face. That way they can design robots with their facial features. Starting in 2023. Oh, and the person is also asked to record about 100 hours of voice material so they can copy it. But isn't that scary? To this day, a classic Christmas movie that can't be missed in December is Home Alone. Actually, you might not know that in the scene where Kevin put a tarantula on a burglar's face, it was a real spider, not a special effect. The actor agreed to film the scene in a single take, and to avoid scaring the animal, opened his mouth while the scream was added later. We know that jellyfish are one of the oldest species living on our planet, so it's normal to come across some truly amazing species. In this case, we're looking at a lion's mane jellyfish that washed up on the coast of Maine, United States, and became the largest ever recorded. It has a body that's 2 meters wide and tentacles that can reach up to 36 meters long. If you've ever seen the famous movie The Matrix, you might have noticed something strange. In every scene where the characters are in that world, there's a green filter, as if you're looking through an old screen. In the real world, the tint changes to blue, and finally, when Morpheus and Neo fight, the color shifts to yellow, since it doesn't happen in either of the two worlds. Let's see if you knew that, my friend. If you've ever played pranks on your family, well, you're not the only one. A few years ago, it was revealed that the son of the physicist Stephen Hawking used to play pranks on his father when he was a child. And, for example, he used his wheelchair as a car, and even used to write bad words on his voice machine quite often. Even if this fact sounds a bit unpleasant, there's a little-known curiosity, and it's said that a human being loses around 35 kilograms of skin, or about 500 million dead cells throughout their life, which can be about half the weight of an average person. If you love food, being a Michelin inspector is probably among your favorite jobs. However, do you know what the requirements are to become one? To begin with, this organization works only with experts to determine certain categories, and one of their requirements, according to their basic guide, is to try at least 275 restaurant dishes in a year. Which animal do you think can tolerate alcohol well? You might guess an elephant or another large animal, but the answer is simpler. It's actually hamsters, and even though it might not seem like it, it's been known for a long time that it's almost impossible to get one drunk, since their livers process alcohol very well. Why so alcoholic, Mr. Hamster? Why? Sandwiches are probably your favorite snack, but maybe you didn't know where they come from? John Montague, Earl of the City of Sandwich, in the 18th century, found himself at a gaming table for 24 hours straight. To satisfy his hunger, he put vegetables, cheese, and meat between 2 bread slices, which is how it got its name. If you ever get a black eye, the best solution is not raw meat. Contrary to what people believe and what you see in movies or cartoons, putting a piece of meat of any kind on a black eye, it only works because it's cold, but it could actually make the problem worse, especially if you put it directly on your eye. It could cause infections due to the bacteria found in raw meat. Although this couldn't be proven, on the moon, it's impossible to whistle. This is because the atmosphere here is so thin that the wind can't blow, so sound doesn't travel. Although, of course, no human could try it without a suit because, well, their blood would start to boil, and inside the suit, there's not enough air to hear a whistle. Our teeth are much stronger than you think. To give you an idea, they tested how much weight a wisdom tooth can withstand. Surprisingly, it was concluded that a natural human tooth can withstand about 664 kilograms, while a false one can handle 390 kilograms before it starts to break. Yes, just like it sounds. Thank you so much, human body. In 1933, Goebbels ordered around 20,000 Jewish books to be burned in the streets of Berlin. And you probably already knew this fact. Interestingly, among these writings were those of Austrian doctor Sigmund Freud. Far from being outraged, he ironically said they'd made progress. At another time, instead of burning books, they would have burned him. In Padang, Thailand, there is a tribe with a rather extreme tradition, the giraffe women, which involves placing them on girls starting at age 5. Rings made of bronze and even gold, which can weigh up to 10 kilos. Gradually, these press the collarbone down toward the rib cage, creating the illusion that the neck is lengthened. There is a part of our body called the nasolabial groove, also known as the philtrum. It's the small indentation between your nose and your upper lip, and it's there because when a fetus is in its mother's womb, both sides of its face develop independently from each other and join together at that groove on your face. Sumo wrestlers. Even though they have a diet of about 7,000 calories a day and weigh around 180 kilos, they generally don't suffer because of their weight due to their intense exercise routines. However, when they retire, they do need to cut back on their daily calories to avoid heart problems. Even though it might sound a bit disappointing, lactose-free milk is actually regular milk, it's just that lactase is added to it, right? Yeah? This is an enzyme that allows people who are lactose intolerant to digest cow's milk without any problem, since it breaks down lactose into glucose and galactose.